I'm Richard Huester. I came to DeLand in 1969.
I'm Taylor Griffin. I came to DeLand in 1970.
I'm Royce Hood. I arrived in 1975.
When we first came here, Dick and I came, there were only 25 doctors in DeLand and only 2 or 3 specialists. So we're kind of on the ground floor. And I think it was very important at that time. This was a small community. Both of us and our wives were vitally involved in the community, and my wife was president of about everything in the town. And it helped our practice a lot. Same thing that we went into Deltona. We were the first specialists that went into the Deltona community and got a foothold in that area. But we were the only orthopedists here in DeLand. It was kind of like a continuation of our residency. We were on every other night. So to go out of town or take a vacation, it really threw a burden on the other one. So we pretty much worked for the first few years until Royce got here.
I was the saving angel that arrived, so it changed the call from every other night to every third night, and that just made life so much easier for everybody.
Just on call for the emergency room when trauma would come in. And we did have considerable amount of trauma. Back, this was in 69, early 70s, there was no evac ambulance, there was no helicopters, there was no level 1 trauma centers. So the ambulance would just take an injured person to the closest hospital. And for us, we had a lot of the I-4 traffic from the St. Johns River halfway to Daytona Beach. From north, from 17, all the traffic up to near Palatka would come in here. So there was a considerable amount of trauma that was brought to this hospital. When I first came here, the first year before I had any help, I was by myself. We had the Prime Minister of Canada, who was retired, was living in DeBerry, and he fell and broke his hip. And so I got to take care of him and operate on him, and he survived it, and eventually he got back home.
Well, when I first moved to town, about the first weekend, I think, Dick comes up and says, well, I'm going out of town tomorrow, but I put a paraplegic on the schedule for you Saturday morning to do a hemipelvectomy on. And he left town.
One of the greater rewards is to have been here for 45 years and have the opportunity to see patients and their children and grandchildren and still know them by first name, and they meet them in the office with a hug and basically spend just the time reminiscing, but to have the flow of life exposed at its various stages is pretty cool.
Being able to take care of people, that we took care of people from the very beginning of not regarding their financial background.
Same thing, we took care of anybody referred from the hospital, anybody in town, so we really took care of our community, we felt.
Well, the reason I went into orthopedics was, in general, the fact that there was such a wide spectrum of problems that you could be asked to solve, and most of the time the patients got better in a hurry. And so being in a general orthopedic practice, which is what we had, and being the only show in town, meant that there was a continuous opportunity to do different things in terms of problem solving. You know, neck, spine injuries, broken limbs, the reconstruction process. I mean, that was the fun part as far as I was concerned. The reason I'm glad we chose to be here is to have that wide spectrum of opportunity. Well, look at us. This is what it used to be.
Yeah.
And now everybody has non-gray hair and walks with a sprightly gait. What we have, I think, is a cohesive accumulation of personalities and specialties that makes it fairly unique. We do take, most of us still take, or most of them still take call. I don't do that anymore, but it's a unique situation. As time has progressed, general orthopedics has become a bit of a dinosaur in the industry, and now there's the super specialists. We have a sports medicine fellowship trained doctor. We have a spine doctor. We have a physical medicine and rehabilitation specialist, shoulder specialist. Like I said, it has, and I don't have any regrets about the way we did it, but it's very apparent to me that the quality of care that is being provided now is superior to what we had to offer at the time due to the specialization. And that's what I think is pretty special about our group now.